babe. What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Hey you guys, welcome to Good Vibes Sunday. So Adam and I are aware that some of you are new to our Good Vibes, and we thought it'd be a good idea just to introduce ourselves again to everybody. We've noticed on our social media platforms that we have some new people coming on, so we'd love to introduce ourselves and kind of give you all an insight of who we are and what we do.
Hey guys, I'm Adam Reifer, and I'm a real estate agent here in Riverside.
And I'm Austri Reifer, his wife, and I'm an interior designer here in Riverside.
So guys, what's our backstory in a nutshell? I was a professional baseball player for 9 years, some of the greatest years of my life. Met my beautiful wife in Riverside in high school. We have a 10-year-old son who is an Aryan. The kid keeps us on our toes all the time. So what ended up happening at the end there was we came back to Riverside. My wife's mother figure ended up passing away, and it kind of took us into a different direction.
Absolutely. So like Adam mentioned, my mother figure passed away from cancer about 2 years ago now. And before that, Adam and I had been traveling around, especially with baseball, and we really never had a hometown. And after her passing, it really brought us back to Riverside, and we decided to start this whole new venture of starting our business. Something that we had been talking about for years, but really never took that leap, especially with him having baseball as his career. So we decided to do this. I was going to school for interior design, and Adam's father, who had been a contractor for 35 years. So it all kind of just made sense. Adam was deciding if he wanted to get his real estate license and get his contractor's license. So everything was really leading us to start something within the home business. Adam grew up watching his father build his family home, which also leads me to where we are now. We're living in my family home after her passing. I'm living here. We're all living here together, and we have plans of renovating this place. So it's been really cool just to be back in our hometown after so many years of kind of trying to get away and not be here, but of traveling around.
It's just a different chapter of our life now.
Absolutely.
And we look at things so differently now than we used to.
Totally. So our roles are, I'm an interior designer. Adam is
A real estate agent.
On his way to being a contractor.
Yeah, on the way. It's in the works.
Yep. His dad, like I mentioned before, has been a contractor for 35 years. And so I think that when we first started this business, it was important for us to have
We really
those
try
contacts.
to leverage his knowledge. We really try to leverage his contacts. His contacts are very valuable in what we were doing. And so these are the contacts that he's kind of went through and sifted through for years and years and years. So when I even mention, I come up to these guys and I say, hey, I'm Adam Reifer. They really know where I'm coming from, and they know that my father, and they know that I'm a genuine person as well. So it's really crucial in what we were doing.
No, absolutely. Like Adam mentioned, his father has all these contacts, and it's kind of funny because if you all know, you have contractors and you have the painters and the tile guys and all of that, and finding these guys who are really great reliable quality work guys is really difficult, because if you're going to find a guy who provides that quality of work, they're also going to be really expensive. So with my career as an interior designer, it was really important for me to kind of team up with his dad, or just have his dad's contacts, which are gold. I mean, your dad's gone through those trials and errors of having the bad ones and then the good ones. And he told us, he's like, guys, don't share my people. They're really important to me, because he's gone through them all for so many years.
Yeah.
So do you want to kind of explain to them what it is we do, like how we work together?
Well, what we usually do is how we kind of come up with our business plan is how as of right now, we meet a lot of people from open houses.
Right.
And what we really do is, especially, or when I meet even a client, we go through these homes, and I bring Austria along with me, and we really try to give people
full experience,
help them see things that they usually won't be able to see with a normal home, and say, this house is a great house. So we're not out there looking for houses for years and months and everything in between. However long it takes. But sometimes it takes people an extra eye or an extra word, an extra something to really see the full complexity of the home that it's a lot simpler than it really is.
Right. So like Adam said, it's like we walk through homes. Okay, well, first of all, so when Adam came home and started real estate, we were going through a time where it was really dark for us. Like we were trying to debate, what should we be doing? We knew we wanted to get into the business of homes, but we didn't know how we were going to go about it. And the biggest obstacle for us was that the fact that Adam's dad, so he's been a contractor for 35 years. However, he's been working in LA. So if you guys know anything about Riverside, we're inland. So we're 45 minutes, debating on where we're looking, but 45 minutes to an hour from LA, inland from LA.
Okay, yes.
Right, so and I'm explaining this for folks that are not in California. So we're inland from LA, about 45 minutes. And so his clientele was, a lot of them were out there. So for us, we were stuck with the challenge of, okay, we got to build from zero. Sure, we have a lot of contacts. A lot of these guys from LA that Adam's father has, a lot of these contacts come out and work out here. However, when it came to clients, where were we going to generate these clients? We had to generate them on our own. So we really started from zero. Starting from zero really made us kind of be in a place where we're really challenged. I mean, it was tough. It was starting with nothing. So with that came some poverty. We had to sacrifice a whole lot. And so,
but we knew where we were headed.
Absolutely.
And that was that light at the end of the tunnel for us. It was really like, we know where we're going. We have such a drive and such a passion for what we're doing that we knew this wasn't going to last forever.
Right.
And we'd rather eat our cup of noodles now than eat cup of noodles for our whole life, or even just have regular food for our whole life. But we knew where we were going with everything.
Absolutely. We knew we had to sacrifice in those beginning stages, which we were completely cool with. It was hard for a lot of family, a lot of friends were like, what are you guys doing? You know, it's you guys are going through this, but we knew at the end of it all that it was all going to be worth it, and we've worked our way up to building our clientele. And the way that we did that was because Adam started getting his contractor's license. He began to work for a brokerage that was awesome, and his real estate license. My bad. And so Adam got his real estate license. Started to work for a brokerage that is a really well-known, great brokerage in town. And I really can't say their name because of legal reasons, but so really great brokerage in town. And then from that, I started going to Adam's open houses. So this is where it got kind of funny because I began to go to Adam's open houses almost as a host, I guess you can say.
Yes.
And our power really came from that because as I came with him, I began to, learn a lot about, first of all, just clientele, a lot about real estate.
The demographic.
The demographic. What do people want?
Yes.
Especially in our area, because when you're looking at California and you look at LA, for example, the demographic out there is a whole different demographic than we've got out here. Us Riverside folks are very family oriented. We have more younger families emerging that are coming from LA. They are coming from Orange County. And when a lot of people think about Riverside, they think about Riverside as, it's
this more rural place.
Right. They think of rural, they think of poverty, but really it's not. It's actually, here's the biggest thing. When Adam and I first came back, when we said, okay, where are we setting roots here? Baseball's over. What's that next step? We said, okay, well, if we move to LA or we move to San Diego, which is where we planned on moving before, the competition out there would be great. It would be huge. People are already having all this money and all this, their roots are already set. When we thought about Riverside, we thought about Greenland. We thought about something fresh. We thought about how can we, create a niche here within our own hometown. And we actually started with UCR.
How can we put our twist on everything?
Well, tell them how we started in UCR. So Adam, when he came back from baseball, he went back to school, back to University of Riverside, and we were taking a class, I say we because we were literally studying together. I was helping him write papers and do some research, and he started to research about D.R. Horton, and a lot of that started to kind of rise some interest for us. We started to learn about demographics. We started to learn about the buying process, the selling process, homes process, the building process. And we started to also realize that Adam read an article. Do you want to tell him about that article you read? About the millennials coming in from LA?
Oh, it was a Times article. Oh, no, it was a Press Enterprise article. There's a few articles that have happened this past year But one in particular was talking about, it was in the Press Enterprise last October, not the one in 2016 to be exact. And it started talking about by 2030, there's going to be 1.3 million people here in Riverside. And that's truly exciting when right now we're scraping 400,000 maybe.
Totally.
And so this group of population is going to grow 3 times.
Right.
3 times what it is now. So you can just think that just on an economic scale of supply and demand, that everything is going to grow. It's going to grow on such an exponential pace these next 15 or 12 years, I guess you want to call it. So we looked at that, and he said, well, we have such a millennials right now, and they are coming the largest demographic in history.
Absolutely.
Over 95 million millennials in this country.
Right.
So,
and the millennials, the way that they gravitate towards stories, the way that they gravitate towards a different way of life. I say that the way that business used to be done has changed with this new generation. Us millennials, we have a different way of almost not even buying, but it's a different buying process. We gravitate towards brand. We are very loyal to our brands. We are very loyal to where did our brands come from? Are these genuine, ethically sourced brands?
Where do we go? We go to Zillow reviews. We go to Yelp reviews.
Right.
We're very
big time word of mouth.
Big time word of mouth. We want the best, and we want to be taken care of. We don't want to be taken advantage of.
Right. So with that said, so we started to kind of, after Adam was in school and we started to read these articles and we started to learn about this stuff, we really decided, okay, you know what? All of that is going to take longer in LA. It's going to take longer in San Diego or all these more metropolitan cities. Why not, knowing that we're going to get an influx of millennials coming from LA, coming from Orange County, why don't we create this brand, this company that embodies everything that we are, our entire story, everything we believe in, and create something that is, I always say, in the business of homes, in the business of people versus just being a real estate agent or just being a designer or just being a contractor, right?
We want to be multifaceted.
And I'll never forget that when we first started doing this, everybody was like, well, what is it you guys do? What, you guys are designers, or you guys are this, or you guys that. Everybody was so confused because what we learned was that a lot of people didn't understand what we were trying to do. This whole branding of, no, we're not just a designer. We're not just a real estate agent. We're not just building. We're not just, we want to create a whole lifestyle brand.
We're going to create a little movement.
We want to create a movement. We want to create a brand that is everything home, everything that your Riverside millennial young family wants and has to need. And we can be this full service to provide all of that for them. So where are we going with this is that in the future we would love to have products. We would love to have things. We can't really say exactly what our plans are because
because everything's growing still.
Yeah,
we're still growing. Things could change tomorrow for all I know.
I don't want to jinx it, but what I'm saying is we have big plans, and it doesn't stop with just being a real estate agent. It doesn't stop just with being a designer. We really want to embody.
We have
this
such
brand.
passion for the home industry that we really want to go to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So how do we work together? So Adam, like I said, he's a real estate agent. I'm a designer. So when I go...
creator, and you're the creator, right?
Absolutely. So I say I'm more of the creator. He's more of the transaction guy. He's great with business. Adam is awesome at selling. So when we go to these open houses together, a lot of people are like, why are you going to these open houses? You're not an agent. But what I do is that I go through there and I'm learning. I take it as a learning experience. I really pick up on what is it that home buyers want to see. What are the trends that they want to, and I'm telling you, there are trends.
There is a trend. You see a person and the next person, they're all asking the same questions.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, there's something going on here.
But here's the thing. There are things that are alike, but also when you differentiate them, besides not just being, what every human being wants, which is a home, which is love, which is caring, which is all these things, a safe haven. But when you break it down truly about demographic, when you break it down to neighborhood, price range, are you coming from LA? Are you coming from Kentucky? Or where are you coming from? So when you really narrow it down, there are some differences, and that's why we decided our niche is going to be the young millennial family. That is who we're targeting. That is who we want to market to. So that is not to say that we don't take business from anybody else. all we're saying is that what we are marketing on is our millennial families. I mean, that is our niche for sure. So how do we work together? So again, I go to his open houses. We've been able to gain a lot of clientele through open houses that also want design, who also, a lot of times, Adam's sellers, for example, who are selling homes.
They want to maximize their dollar.
Absolutely. So they want to maximize their dollar.
Maximize their dollar while still being appealing to the home buyer, but within a budget.
Totally. So on a budget. So if they have a budget and they say, hey, Austri, what would you recommend I do to my home to have it appeal to the masses and have it, where he can make the highest profit possible, of course, kind of like flipping their house on the seller standpoint.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tricky. A lot of people are like, so you guys are flippers? No, we do flips separately. That's a separate entity. Okay. So flipping homes is our separate entity. It's all within Leoni, our company, Leoni Homes, but it's not entirely what we do. That's why I tell you guys, we're not just flippers, or we're not just a real estate agent. We're not just a designer. We do it all. Okay. So anything homes, whether it's helping a seller flip his home, to optimize his profits, whether it's a buyer, a client who says, I want to buy this home, but I don't know how to flip it, or I don't know how to buy a home and make it my dream home. So we help our clientele buy homes that perhaps aren't the nicest looking, and that we help them through the process of creating their dream home. Also, we do our own thing. We do our flipping on our sides, our own flips for our personal reasons and investors, etc. So there's a lot of things that are in the works for growing our company, but for the time being, that is where we're at right now. And that's how we work together. As a couple, as a married couple, is it tough? Sure. We had a whole nother Good Vibes Sunday where we talk about our relationship and how we make it work. I'm going to actually go ahead and link that below so you all can kind of listen in and tune in on how Adam and I actually make our relationship work while we work together. Because it's tough. It is.
It is very tough.
Yeah.
There's blurred lines many times.
Absolutely. We're at the dinner table sometimes, we're talking about work. We're like, no, we need to turn it off, so we could actually be a family. So we talk about it all in that Good Vibes there.
Yeah,
link it below. Go and take a listen. So really quick, guys, I wanted to touch on a few things that embody our company. So Adam and I, we have the story of the orange. Do you want to tell them how that whole thing got started?
Well, I think Ashi mentioned to you earlier in the convo here is that the orange started. The story of the orange really started from my class, and I really wanted to see something that really embodied us.
So your class being at university.
I had a marketing class at UC Riverside, and I was in this class, and I started reading this book, and it's called Contagious, and it was a great book. And but in one of the books, it was kind of talked about how people grab onto brands and see what they kind of hone in on. There's the word.
Well, it's a trigger. The way you explained it to me was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Can I tell them?
Yeah, you can tell them.
So, for example, guys, so we have the story of the orange. Adam will go ahead and explain that, but technically, really quickly, so for example, imagine that our trigger, our logo, or our thing that we want our clients to think about us when they see it is an orange. So I always say, I would love to get to a point where we can put a billboard up and only put an orange on it, and instantly when someone sees that, they relate it to us. So they say, oh man, that's like Leoni, the orange, right? Yeah. So that's funny because we said that way back then, but now we get people sending us stuff about oranges all day long, and they say, guys, we thought about you guys, and we're like, thank you, that's exactly what we want, right?
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell them what the orange means.
So we started the orange, so I really was thinking to myself, like, what embodies me as a family?
Right. Oh, we'll tell them about, okay, so really quickly, Leoni. Leoni started with both of us.
Yes.
The name Leoni embodies both of us. So we have this thing where it's black and white. So Leoni comes from black and white because I say Leoni is Adam and it's myself. So black and white. Yes. Adam's white and I'm black, or I'm black and he's white. So it's two people. It's two of us. There's always two things. So Leoni is a Leo, which my horoscope is a Leo.
You're a Leo. Yeah, okay, yeah. Leo,
and you're Gemini. Right.
Yeah.
So Leoni is Leo and Gemini together.
Yes.
So it's two. Everything with Leoni is always in twos. It's for me and Adam. And so when it came to even the orange, we were like, okay, how do we come up with two things that you and I both identify with?
Yeah.
So one was the story of the orange, which identifies with Adam's history. she's going to tell you guys right now about. And then there's the 4 colors for causes, which I will get to in a second. So go ahead.
So to even embody it even more about the orange is like, what embodies myself? What did I grow up with? And I always grew up with oranges. My family came over here from Germany to New York, and then all the way from New York on a train ride all the way to San Gabriel, where my great-grandfather started, selling fruit on fruit stands, walking in their neighborhoods, and my grandfather and my great-grandfather used to go to the orange orchards up in Riverside and up in
the orange groves?
The orange groves.
Apple orchards.
Orange groves, and they used to get these oranges, and they used to bring them back, and they used to sell them, walk in the streets of LA and everywhere. And then but then at the same time, so my family have always had property, and they've always had orange. We didn't have orange groves, but we've had multiple orange trees on the property. And so I have always been around oranges my whole entire life. And so with that being said, my father has them, my grandfather has them, my great-grandfather had them. So then Riverside. And then Riverside is really all about oranges. It has
we have huge orange groves.
Huge citrus industry that's really started here. And Riverside used to be one of the richest cities in the country at one point back in the late 1800s.
Absolutely.
And so it was really crazy. So I knew that the orange could be a very indicator for us here in Riverside.
So one day Adam came home from school and he said, hey, and this is when we were trying to build our business plan and marketing plans, et cetera, and just coming up with this whole company and how we were going to go about it. So he comes home from school one day and says, hey, why don't we drop off oranges in the orange community, in Riverside community? So drop off oranges at people's homes when we drop off our marketing material. And I was like, you know what? That is genius. That is so genius, because he said, you know what? I identify with the orange because of this history I have. It's been in my family for 4 Rifer generations, and they made all ends meet with fruit. We were going through, a tough time financially. And a lot of people don't believe that because they say baseball, you guys were in baseball for 9 years. How can you be suffering, financially? But I dare anybody to start something brand new from, nothing, from scratch, with new customers, new everything. And you tell me how long you stretch that dollar, So we really did, we did go through a financial hardship enough to where people were bringing us food at our doorstep. Friends and family were bringing us food so we could survive, et cetera, et cetera. So at this time, during this time that we were going through this hardship, we said, you know what? If the Rifers were able to make ends meet with oranges and selling fruit for a living, we should be able to make ends meet. Mm-hmm. And then we started to really grasp onto this idea of the orange. We're like, gosh, now this orange can also symbolize that oath that we give to people, that promise that no matter what, we will give the most authentic, genuine, passionate service to all who come to us. Yeah. So that's where it started, and we started to kind of go around town and drop off these oranges at people's doorsteps, and we hired our nephew, and he went with us, and he started helping us drop off these oranges on our days that we would go and do our marketing plans. And so we started to drop off the oranges, and it was great because people were starting to notice us, and they started to say, hey, we follow you guys on Instagram. We love your story. Thanks for the orange, and stuff like that. So it's been really cool. We continue to do it, and we hope that it grows. And our plan is to eventually, and yes, these are fruit tree oranges. These are fresh oranges. We don't buy them
from our trees.
From Adam's parents' trees, which is from the Rifer home. So we really wanted to add story to everything. We wanted to make sure that whatever we do it with full hearts and just have that true identity behind it. So that leads me to our 4 colors for causes. So with aside from the orange, we also have our 4 colors for causes. I'm also going to link the video below so you guys can see how all that works. But so what it is 4 colors for causes started from the same place kind of that the orange started. It started where Adam wanted to identify something with himself, and then I wanted to identify with something of myself. So I told you guys that my mother figure passed away from cancer. So I was in that place. Adam was in the place where he had just ended baseball. And collectively, we were both in a place of financial hardship. So taking all of that together, we came up with these 4 colors for causes. So on our logo, on our Leoni logo, if you look at the nose, I'll link it below so you guys can see, but On our nose, we have 4 colors. It's red, yellow, green, blue. So each color stands for a cause. So for every transaction that goes through us, whether it's buying, selling, designing, anything that goes through us that we personally do, we donate a portion of our commission or our proceeds to one of the causes that our client chooses. So at the end of the, let's say escrow or whatever it is, we offer our client to choose out of one of these causes. And it's been really neat because they choose and it's at no cost to them. It comes out of our proceeds or our commission. But they go ahead and they choose a cause and we go ahead and we donate. And it's been awesome. And where that came from was hunger. Hunger is one of our causes, of course, cancer, the environment, and building homes. So building homes, I always say that if it wasn't for me having this family home passed down to me, Adam and I would be living in spare bedrooms of family. Okay. So when we started our business, we would have not had anywhere to live besides family homes, but a bedroom, and being a couple, 200-pound guy here, 250-pound guy here, living in a bedroom, a spare bedroom with our child and me, and us working and going to school and trying to figure out this Leoni company thing wouldn't have been a good situation. It would have been a lot tougher. We were so blessed to have this home. And with that, I always thought, well, not everybody runs that same luck. And I wouldn't say that my aunt passing away or my mother figure passing away was luck. And no, it wasn't by any means. But what I'm saying is that we had family come bring us food. We had the love of family. Not everybody has that same luck. Not everybody has that same love offered to them. So I say is that donating to these causes, being aware that these people don't run that same luck that we had, that they don't have, the availability, the support that we're so lucky and blessed to have. With that, we just said, our entire business needs to be founded on this. Because if it wasn't for this, if we weren't in this place in our life at that time, we didn't have all that support, we wouldn't even be able to be here. So we want to be able to give back. So that's what our 4 colors for causes means. It's a huge part of us. Our orange story has been awesome. People have really identified with it. And here we are, guys. We are doing our Good Vibes Sunday. Our Good Vibes Sunday started also same thing. I have mentioned before, but I love Oprah. I love this woman. I've been watching her since I was a young girl. And she created these shows that are called Super Soul Sundays. And she comes on and she has great people come on. She interviews them. And what it is a place to come and kind of like sip on your coffee and just get your good vibes on. So I started to think about just how do I create something that is
that you're
different,
very passionate for,
that I'm so passionate about. Like, I don't know why, but I'm passionate about this lifestyle being.
Just learning how to be more aware and how to really to get yourself to be in a better place.
To create a place, a home. Look, guys, in my last Good Vibes Sunday, I talked about how houses are just structures. You create the home you live in. Okay, so what you bring to the table in your own home is really what your home is going to thrive on. So if you bring goodness, your home will have more goodness. If you bring negativity, it's unfortunately going to have that too, right? So I always say is like I wanted to create this blog that wasn't just embodying everything home. I wanted to embody everything that is a lifestyle, everything that is what I'm passionate about.
What you're passionate about.
Right? So a space that I could talk to you guys and communicate these things, these lessons that I've learned, that Adam has learned, that we've all learned, that
I want to share them.
That I want to share them. That at the end of the day, as human beings, we all thrive. We all want to feel the same thing. We all strive and reach for the same thing ultimately. So I wanted to have a space where I can connect with you guys, and I hope I have, and I hope I continue to.
Even if you just touch one person, you touch one.
Even if I touch one. No, honestly, guys, we've had such a growth on this, and particularly on our Good Vibes. So we are so thankful, so honored to be able to talk to you guys.
We're really excited about our future and where everything is going. I think it's going to be really exciting for you guys to grow with us, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for where this is going.
I think we both are, babe. So with that, guys, I hope we kind of covered everything. I know we're coming on 30 minutes here, so we don't want to prolong this too long, but I'm going to go ahead and link below some stuff for you all to kind of gauge what we were talking about, and we leave you with that. We hope you enjoyed it.
Please respond. We love hearing from you guys.
Absolutely.
If you have anything to say about us, please share with us.
All right, guys. So have a happy Sunday, and we'll see you next week, Good Vibers.
See you guys.